So Transformers, some news this week. We knew that Akiva Goldsman was sort of tasked with assembling sort of a writer's room, excuse me, a writer's room for, to quote, incubate ideas for spin-offs and a multi-part sequel for Transformers. And he's come up with, reportedly, I believe according to Deadline, the following writers to work on it. And we're going to talk about one writer in particular. Those writers include Iron Man's Art Markham and Matt Holloway, X-Men The Last Stand, and Pacific Rim 2's Zach Penn, and Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Lost writer Jeff Pinkner, and, drum roll please, The Walking Dead's very own, the creator of The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman.
Who once sat behind me at Book of Mormon.
He sat across from me from Book of Mormon, and I tweeted him, and he turned around.
I remember, I was there.
Yeah, you were behind me.
That was the
Yeah,
same.
it was the same show.
Yeah.
Book of Mormon, great show if you should see it. We're big
Awesome.
stage lovers here. Anywho, Robert Kirkman, creative Walking Dead, getting involved with the Transformers movies. Even if it's just to incubate story ideas, whether or not he's actually going to end up scripting one, we're not sure. He's a busy guy. He's got the Walking Dead comic book and now 2 TV spin-offs.
Oh, he's got more than Walking Dead in comics.
Yeah, and then he's also, he's got basically a company that's working on...
Skybound, is that his company?
Skybound, yeah.
And it's working on not only multiple comics, but multiple TV shows.
He's got a movie, too, with Norman Reedus.
Yeah. So he's got a fair amount on his plate.
My question to the panel, then, can Robert Kirkman reanimate
Transformers?
And what does this mean for The Walking Dead? Like, how much is he going to have less of a stake in that, because he's going to? That's a lot to take on.
Well, we're seeing this a lot with really sought-after creators now. You're seeing Lord and Miller get put on everything. Yeah. You're seeing, years ago it was Damon Lindelof. Like you see all these people who kind of like Orson and Kurtzman. You see these people repeatedly getting put on projects, and they get really hot for a while, and then and then like
things
starts.
Suffer.
Well, and then eventually you get to this critical mass of projects, and then you have to like start cutting back on stuff.
Or they just have their names on things and they don't actually have that much to do with it, which is really risky.
Yeah.
Like Spielberg, which is really risky because then things come out like he does not want them to, and his name is still on it.
Yeah.
So he's now stopped doing that.
Yeah, I think he has stopped doing that.
He has,
Yeah,
very
it's
pointedly.
like but I think the key phrase here is like incubator.
He hasn't taken his name off Transformers.
Yeah, true.
Well, he hasn't taken. He's still getting that check too.
I wouldn't take my name off Transformers either.
I would put my name all over the Transformers.
Well, Kirkman probably wants a little bit more of that money too.
Get some of
so
the toy
let's
money.
talk about why Kirkman. What can he bring to Transformers?
I think
he's need?
It's I was going to say that the key thing is incubator idea. It's not like we're saying for sure he's going to be writing the next Transformers script, but you want people in there who have good ideas that have like really struck a chord with the world, and obviously Walking Dead has. And these other guys are no slouches either. It's like a lot of people who have done a lot of quality things sitting down in a room to figure out this Transformers problem. And I think they realize that like, although the series has been really popular, it's gotten a little bloated, and there's somewhat of a quality issue. Like. They're not outside of.
Whoa, diplomacy.
Yeah, okay. Wow. Well, I was being diplomatic, but yes, like the Transformers.
That was like politician.
Outside of Transformers, the original movie, which I can still contend is decent.
Yeah, I like the first Transformers.
I think it's just kind of gotten away from itself, and everybody realizes that, right? And so.
It's like Rod Stewart. It started off cool, Young Turks. Now he's playing Vegas. He's like Danny Collins.
You want to bring it down to the kernel of the story, and I think that's what they're trying to get to.
Chris is running for mayor of Transformers Town.
I am. My campaign platform is kernel of the story. So that's what you want to do. You want to get back to like Autobots.
I'll lower your taxes, or that's not my butter.
That is not my butter.
But do you think Kirkman though can actually make it about people again? Because let's
that's what it needs
face
to
it.
be.
I mean, Walking Dead. At the end of the day, yeah, sure, we love the zombie kills, but we're still involved for the most part with the humans.
Well, the zombies in The Walking Dead they're like the natural event. They're the disaster that happened that the humans are then responding to. But it is all about the people and the zombie killing, but also the people. I think the thing with Kirkman, I think you're right, is that the key is that they're just their sort of brainstorm, which is actually a really smart idea, to just get people in a room, try and see if they can figure out the best approach to this franchise, and keep it thriving. But not
like what we do every week on Keeping It Real.
Exactly. Why don't they just get us in the room, give us some of that toy money? That toy money. God, can you imagine? But I think the thing with Kirkman is that I don't foresee him abandoning his other projects and like signing on to really write a Transformers movie, because he is allegedly quite protective of his work.
That's one way of saying it.
And I wonder if he could really work all that well within the confines of a studio system where there's so many people other than him calling the shots.
Some would say it's a Fontole Creek.
Yeah, I
something
mean,
that goes with it.
I think he could get in there and brainstorm for a while about
Yeah.
it, but to like, he couldn't really, I don't think, like,
I mean, that's
take ownership.
I mean, that's a lot to go from running your own flagship, basically, to now essentially being a hired gun. Like, we want your smarts, but at the end of the day, you know, the Paramount brass, de Bonaventura, the producer,
They
Spielberg,
are the ones calling the shots.
Michael Bay, like, nobody tells Michael Bay what
Michael
to do.
Bay has, he has final cut. Literally nobody is telling him what to do.
I think they're going in a room to come up with an outline or several outlines, and that's what's going to happen. You know, like you're going to get, and then one of them or a couple of them are going to take on the writing of the project after that. I don't think Kirkman is ultimately going to shake out to be that person. But here's the one thing I would say: we were talking about bringing humans more into it. I think what needs to actually happen is that the Transformers need to feel like humans. And we need to get to kind of how it felt to you as a kid when you were watching Transformers, the animated series, where those characters felt really real and human to you. And I feel like, you know, it's really, like right now, it's like really flashy and one-liners, and really the only person-y Transformer you relate to is Optimus. And, you know, like, it needs to be so that everybody is kind of...
Bumblebee too, I think.
Bumblebee does communicate, you know, kind of in other ways.
He's essentially like, you associate him kind of like the same way, to far lesser degree, but with the way R2 just made beeps and sounds like that.
But
now, everyone loves R2 more, but
in that movie, I would say I actually have a bigger affection for Bumblebee than any other character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, so more of that, right? Like I think they need more of that, and they need like less inane human characters as well. Like I think it gets a little broad, and I think part of that is why it's successful, and part of that's why it's successful internationally. But like if actually what we're looking to do is make the movie a little bit more sort of critically acclaimed, then I think it needs to the story just needs to be better.
Rule number one in that. Stop casting some of America's finest Italian-American actors as government asshats. John Turturro, Stanley Tucci.
Yeah.
If I see Joe Mantegna or Chaz Palminteri show up in the next one being morons, I'm out. I'm not even Italian.
Wow.
You know?
You just got so Boston.
I'm just saying.
Transformers.
Transformers. Get out of here. It's bad enough you already got Marky in there.
Transform and relax.
He's Transformers. So we want to know, what do you guys think Robert Kirkman could bring to
the
Transformers? Will he reanimate this here franchise, or is it still going to be as dead and flaccid as insert penis joke here?
This is like the opposite.
This is exactly what we didn't want this
he's
podcast
running for
to.
mayor of Transformers Town, and you're
I'm apparently running for town drunk. I don't know. So we want to know what you guys think. What can Robert Kirkman do for Transformers?